Hi, my name is Rachel and I am fourth year university at the University of UWS and I am a BA Business student. The international event issue I have chosen to analyse will be environmental issues, particularly focusing on pollution caused by greenhouse gases. The purpose of this video is to outline and discuss the progress and findings I will incorporate into the final report on international event issues. The report includes an analysis of how the relevant international event issues has impacted two mega events hosted outside of the UK. In this presentation, I will identify what a greenhouse gas is and the effect it is having to our environment, and what these events are now doing to try and prevent and adapt to these international issues. I have conducted research through academic articles to help my analysis to support the international problem, which is CO2 caused by big sporting events. The two events I have chosen to analyse is NASCAR and the Super Bowl. Many of you may have heard the word CO2 and the term greenhouse gas, but may not know exactly what that is. Carbon dioxide is also known as CO2 and is a greenhouse gas that is natural and harmless in small quantities, but as level rises it can be dangerous to your health. When levels of CO2 rise, there is less fresh air, it can cause headaches, restlessness, drowsiness and so on. The first event I have chosen to discuss is NASCAR. From constant travel to keeping stadium lights on, every sport is energy intensive, but NASCAR, in which drivers race vehicles 500 miles at speeds of 200 miles per hour, takes energy intensity to a whole new level. NASCAR stands for the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing and is an American auto racing sanctioning and operating company. NASCAR is privately owned and was founded in 1948 by a man called Bill France, and his grandson Brian France has now been the CEO since 2003. NASCAR was last held on the 30th of September 2018. The event involves 43 cars racing against each other, competing 500 miles per car. NASCAR has been held in 39 US states, including Canada, Mexico and Europe. The event has also been held in countries such as Tokyo and Japan. The second event I've chosen to discuss due to environmental effects is the Super Bowl. On the 8th of June 1968, two leagues announced their plans to merge. Today we know this as the Super Bowl. Today the Super Bowl is one of the biggest events in the US calendar. In 2018, the Super Bowl was being held in America and was held in the US Bank Stadium that has a capacity to hold around 73,000 people. The Super Bowl is also a sellout and tickets can be sold for up to $3,000. This means thousands of fans all over the world will be commuting to the game through various methods of transport. Environmentalists asked Jack Groh, Director of Environmental Programme at NFL, what they were doing to help reduce pollution. His answer was nothing. Since then, a conscious effort has been made to improve the environmental issues relating to the super event. But is this enough? In this report, I will briefly discuss how these events are tackling the international event issues. So far, I've only found 4 academic articles, as it's proven quite challenging to link academic articles to these specific events. I will discuss 2 of these in the progress report just now. The literature that I have reviewed so far will highlight how greenhouse gases and how the events have started to put into practice to try and reduce the amounts of CO2. I will also discuss articles relevant to the issue, which is environmental impacts of mega sporting events. The first article I've found supports my findings on this report, as it explains how sporting events can be both negative and positive to our environment. Events potentially impact upon local ecosystems, utilise reserves of irreplaceable natural land, and contribute towards carbon emissions, which can affect climate change. For example, an advantage of major sporting events can involve significant physical redevelopment of the host city. The negative effect would be the pollution caused by the sporting event. The second article I have discovered was regarding the recent increase on greenhouse gases and how this is affecting the environment and what countries are now doing to try and reduce this. Air pollution for tourist transportation has impacts on a global level, especially from carbon dioxide emissions related to transportation energy use, and it can contribute towards a severe local air pollution. For example, especially in very hot or cold countries, coaches and buses often leave motors running for hours, whilst tourists or vans go out for an excursion or attend a sporting event. Due to the increase of carbon dioxide levels, more than 100 countries have adopted a global warming limit of 2 degrees Celsius as a guiding principle for mitigation efforts to reduce the climate change risks, impacts and damages. This shows how transportation is responsible for the bulk of environmental impacts connected to long-distance tourism. Although environmental issues have affected these events, and the event organisers now have had to adapt to a greener environment. However, as stressed above, environmental externalities can be both positive and negative. NASCAR have started to clean up their act and have been making changes to try and reduce their waste. Changes such as using a different type of fuel that is much eco-friendlier. By using Sunoco as the official fuel of NASCAR, this pollutes less. All of NASCAR use the same blend of fuel. NASCAR has used around 300,000 gallons less in just one season. This fuel is not only more efficient but also a lot cleaner to burn. This fuel produces about 20% less greenhouse gases. As mentioned before, the race cars don't only consume gas, they also go through an excessive amount of tyres. When oil is burned to make the tyres, it puts around 698 pounds of CO2 in the air for just 1 barrel of oil. Instead of throwing tyres away, Goodyear, the tyre sponsor of NASCAR, takes the old tyres and recycles them. For Super Bowl in 2016, the game in Indianapolis used around 15,000 megawatts of electricity. The next year's Super Bowl in New Orleans Superdome pumped out 3.8 million pounds of carbon dioxide, even though the power went out in the middle of the game. Not only does the game itself use a higher amount of carbon dioxide, this doesn't include the number of fans, media, players that have to travel to these events and the plane fuel used to allow these events to take place. The National Football League have been working hard to make changes to the event and make sure it's not a menace to the environment. Small changes can make a big impact. NFL have started to bring in a green initiative. These include planting trees, installing solar panels and purchasing renewable energy offsets. So far, my recommendations for NASCAR would be to cut down the amount of times the event is held in a year. At the moment, it's currently 43 times a year in several different states. There's not any need for this. I would also hope with the upcoming technology, electric cars may start to be put into use, but will cut the amount of CO2 used. NASCAR have also started planting 10 trees for every green flag that is dropped. This will not only replace the paper that's been used, but will also act as a natural air purifier. It will help the amount of pollution that reaches the ozone layer. My recommendations for Super Bowl would be to try and hold the game during the day where additional lighting is not required. I think the idea of solar panels being installed in the stadium is a great idea. Although it may be costly, the hosting cities could look into transport systems such as electric trams or more cycle routes to the event to try and reduce pollution. Thank you for listening.